Thank you. Hello, Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order.
Okey doke.
Terry just said she has the meeting, the minutes from our executive session the other night. And she will get those to you and you're gone.
And she's gone. Like I just
She
would
gone.
say, she's gone.
So do we wait until she comes back?
Now she's gotta keep notes. I give her a minute.
All right, well, we can, previous minutes, did everybody have a chance to read? John, did you have any corrections?
No,
No.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes of the previous meeting.
I will second said motion.
Hang on, I'm taking,
Minutes.
Here she comes.
Hello.
Not there yet. You gotta click the admit button.
motion's been made by Lance, seconded by John.
There you go.
All those in favor of accepting the previous minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Tammy, that was motion made by Lance, seconded by John. She looks so happy to be here.
She hung up the first time.
All right,
You're muted.
you know, you don't have,
My nose.
oh, I was gonna say, you don't have to cover your face to talk to us through the computer.
I'm not gonna. Blow up my nose. I
All
hit the
right,
button.
finances, pop up on the hot seat there.
Tom is there?
He is.
Yeah, can't even wonder that she was here by Zoom, but I might not have noticed she was there otherwise, so.
I can see you, but I don't think you can see me.
Probably not. So,
Mm.
hello.
Nope.
I just had a few quick comments, notes,
Yep.
from my brief experience as town treasurer, so, you know, you guys can fire questions at me, I don't know that I know much yet. But
Okay.
First thing is I'm still here, that's a good thing, I think, that, I know that I've outlasted at least one other treasurer, they tell me, so.
You're on a roll.
I'll be honest with you, for a few times in week 1, week 2, I'm thinking, what have I gotten myself into? There's a lot of stuff when you come in knowing nothing, to just sort of.
Yeah.
Throw at you that I just.
Well, you have that in common with the select board. We all know nothing.
Taking that little confidence, yes, so.
And I did get your email. You requested all the stuff that we had put down, the budgeted numbers that we had put down.
That was for me, maybe.
It might have been Vera. I think it was just so that you could fill in.
Well, that was, and I figured, I didn't know if you had those until you had
So-
your town meeting, so I figured those would be put in.
They're not official until the town meeting. I do have them all. They're all
Okay.
my hand scratchings.
Sorry for your absence, but I.
No, that's fine.
If they were. And
No.
you can put them in after.
Yep, yep,
I didn't
so-
think it really affected too much there. But Tammy did receive another application from treasurer today, so just so you know, there's.
You better watch it.
They're coming for you, huh?
What's that?
Better watch your step. We got another one.
So we like can be replaced. And I think all things aside, I mean, you guys kind of knew that from day one. I'm probably 5-year max at age 65, so if you found.
Oh, hell, you're good for longer than that.
Something, you know,
65.
I'm not offended if you stumble upon someone whose dream has been to be the Bakersfield town treasurer, and is younger than me.
Well,
Gladly help.
the town of Bakersfield's weary about those people also, so.
Do you realize how long we've tried to get to
You know,
someone to accept?
But I also, I want to know, and I mean that, again, kidding aside, that, if you should stumble onto someone that you think would last longer, though there's no guarantees, then I would gladly help as Vera has with any transition, but that's not for today.
We're not ready for it.
Yeah, signatures, I've been, talked to John or via email where I'm in Enosburg.
Yep.
A couple times they got all my stuff, I signed off on all the community bank.
I have to go over.
accounts.
Perfect.
And,
I signed today. I signed it today, so it's just John. That's all they need.
so, and then I'll be able to sign checks and at least I know the library, I understand it isn't meeting tonight and there's some trustee changes, so I'm not really sure when I might be able to sign the library, but I figure someone will be able to do that until I can.
Yeah, they should have somebody on there. Who else is it Nicole Cribb that's on there? now,
I'm not
Tammy?
going for the site, for the light.
Is that who's,
Is that who's what?
is that who's on there with Vera for the library?
I think it's Carrie Flieger.
Oh, okay, okay, yep. So they have somebody that can cover that until,
no,
yeah, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Although I think Carrie's getting done. She's not running again.
Is your mic on? There'd
But-
like to be a break.
But she's there until town meeting day.
I
So
thought
she'll
it-
be there when Tom's gone.
Okay,
I have a loud nasally voice, so.
Yeah.
Is it really loud? Turn me down.
You
And
hear-
It's not about myself. No, I was talking about me.
Yeah, could you hear Tom okay when he was talking?
Yep, I could hear Tom good.
Perfect.
All right,
Good,
so-
good.
all right.
Hearing better now.
Yeah, now I can
Oh,
start
microphone.
singing. I have a microphone in front of me. So I'll be quick. I know you guys have plenty of stuff to do here, but just the things that are good that I think I figured out. I kind of knew how to make payments and do all that, but kind of under Vera's good guidance. Now at least understand the whole warrant process and town versus road versus library and all of that stuff. Which was last time we met, I knew nothing and now I know slightly more than that. And bank reconciliations, all of that, tax deposits, all of that, it's all good. Grants, trusts, property taxes.
We'll get,
Not a specialist
Yeah,
in that just
yeah.
yet, but I've been exposed to it, so at least I get it conceptually, I guess.
yep,
One thing on trust funds. I'm used to seeing checking account balance for the Margaret Cutting Trust.
And that was probably in one of the little checkbooks, so my apologies for anything.
No, no,
missing
just-
tonight.
I don't need to see it tonight.
Yeah. But that is one of the non-QuickBooks accounts, so
Yeah.
some of those I trying to throw together today, and there probably are a few omissions.
Yeah.
For Terry's benefit, the Margaret J. Trust is where the
Trust. that.
educational grants come from, scholarships come from,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no, I'll make sure if there's anything that was missing this time around. This is my first time through the select board report, so thanks for pointing it out though, so that at least I'll.
As I said, no big deal.
Yeah,
Thank you
We'll go
for
look for that next time.
listening to me.
And you already mentioned the budget numbers, so that was the one that I was gonna say, we'll throw those in for
yep.
next time from wherever. And the only other, I guess, question for you, some of these reports that you're getting are coming from these elaborate and impressive spreadsheets and stuff that
Mhm.
Vera has kind of assembled and stuff. I'm more of a QuickBooks guy where everything is, I call QuickBooks sort of the primary source of truth because everything's in there. Everything in there is reconciled with the bank accounts. So I know those numbers are exact. And I think Kathy's even balancing things out with the statements and stuff. So I guess the question is, all those reports that you're getting, if there was a slightly different version of it that had income and expenses, does it have to be the exact thing that you guys are getting? Because I don't know what you're using some of these numbers for. I get the.
Which ones would-
Expenses.
Which ones would be different?
The only thing that, not the first, I mean, the bank, and I should have brought a bundle in myself here, but the top one, the bank balances.
Yeah, we got,
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, so, yeah. Yeah, since there's not a lot of other people here. Not
Yep.
taking up anybody else's space. So first one, that one be fine. I mean, I'm not trying to eliminate anything either. I'm just asking
yeah, no, I'm just, yep,
in case we can simplify. So first cover sheet with the bank balances, I'd say that all stays the same with all of that. It was more the town expenses and the road expenses and the road receipts and the town receipts. And then I guess we get into the library as well.
okay,
And I guess the point is, right now, the information is entered in two different places, like it's in QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Which is where, that's the permanent place that it's residing. But it gets re-entered into these spreadsheets that all kind of tabulate into this report. But
So-
it's Same,
Forgive my ignorance,
Go
but
ahead.
would the QuickBooks spreadsheet be similar to
it
this?
would be similar. In fact, what I was thinking, so I don't waste anybody's time, would be maybe for February, do all these reports exactly the same way. Would just include, here's an alternate version. Would this be acceptable with any
Yeah.
slight changes?
Yeah,
Because
So- the reason we get these,
Yeah.
okay, just to answer that question, is we have our budgeted amount. Okay, then we have what we've used to that date. So when it comes time to start building our budget, we can be like, okay, look, we can cut back on, I don't even know, the copier. you know, that contract dropped way down, we're not using as much. We can take $500 off that. May not sound like a lot, but
No, it all.
but you know what I mean? It just gives us, this gives us an accurate, like, what we budgeted, what we're spending, where we can cut back, where we need to increase. That's the entire purpose of these. These reports, if it's similar,
Yeah, exactly.
would be great. We definitely need something along this lines because it is for the budgeting purpose.
No, and that's fine, and I know, though I haven't really used it much, there is like a budgeting thing that you can set up in QuickBooks. Where
Okay.
You just, you say, here's the 2024 budget for all these different accounts, so I believe that amount can come out here. If it can't, then we'll stick with what we've always done, and
Just make the transition gradual.
I will, and I don't do anything without asking.
We're simple people.
Yeah, you know, you're sitting across from a simple person as well, so we're all on a level playing field with that.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to bring us an example for February, that'd be
Well,
awesome.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yep.
And I'm also thinking of myself as sort of an experiment of, here's someone coming in that knows nothing. And if there's something we can streamline, then the next person after me, if they don't have to figure out this spreadsheet.
Yep.
Because you can get the same numbers you need from just entering the data once. And I'm not saying that that's possible. Again, I'm not.
Yep.
Not saying it like,
No.
I know anything more than anybody else, or that it isn't good, everything that's there. Just figured I'd ask if.
Yep. No, yeah, as long as it's something that we can use
Yeah.
further down
Yeah,
Road, I think that'd be fun.
So I don't waste your time. Just give you what you're used to seeing, and then here's an additional one.
Yep,
I'm-
this is how,
Things that I can think that might be slightly different. The one that I think is tallied up from all the warrants.
yep,
You might at the end of the month have
Usually tells me he didn't.
taxes or something like a
Oh.
tax deposit that in
It just
QuickBooks
goes on.
would spill over into the
General,
February,
Yeah.
because that's when it
Well,
got deducted, you know, from the bank.
yep,
Things
yep,
should-
I'm thinking some of that maybe isn't that big a deal in the overall
Right.
yearly type of
This
thing.
is the
But
small-
anyway, I think it's just little things like that that would be different if I can get
Right.
the
That's-
numbers, so they look the same, but they're just coming out of
Yeah.
QuickBooks instead of getting re-entered in.
So
yep,
the biggest thing is it automates the process and it saves time.
That's it, and it's the double entry.
oh, yeah.
You don't,
It's like why, if it's in the QuickBooks, we can hit a button and it prints it out automatically. Why drag it out in the sheets?
Yep.
and that's kind of where I'm coming from, exactly.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
try and enter things once if you can.
yep,
If you can't, well, you can't, and it's not always possible, but
I say show it next month and.
yep, show it to us and,
yeah, that's, I figured.
yep,
no harm.
that works, yeah, no foul away,
You
so,
can say, no, that won't work, or
yep,
yes, it will, or it will work if this is slightly different, and we'll figure it out from there.
yep,
So I'm just curious with page 2 and 3, now that I'm looking at it,
yep.
just, it looks like everything has reset. Am I right or wrong about that?
Well, the budgeted totals aren't in there.
Right?
And yes, everything would have reset as
From
of
January 1st,
January 1st.
Yeah, right.
Because that's where we're budgeted for,
January to January,
right?
That's our fiscal year, right?
what we vote on it in March.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And we don't get the money till October.
You're welcome and thank you all at the same time.
So again, give credit to Vera for prepping a lot of stuff. where
Yeah.
She went through and she took all the cumulative 2023 and cleared them all out so that, you know, most of this is her handiwork, not mine.
Yeah.
You know, setting the stage for this year. So she's been a tremendous resource, and so she will continue to help anytime I reach out to her. Try not to reach out to her for small stuff.
Yeah, when we get the reports from QuickBooks and or through the Excel sheet, either or. And I know this is moving forward, when we get the budget approved in March, we're gonna, if we could fill in like all 3 columns, because it
Yeah.
wasn't always all filled in, and it was a little. You know, it's like we have no money in there.
That's what I was just telling him is I can give him access to my hand scratchings from the meetings.
Yeah.
And he can put those numbers in until it's voted through.
It's official.
At least then, you know, the only time it changed.
She's all set up, and I think QuickBooks to do the difference that you're seeing here, where it has, here's the budget, here's what we have year to date with the difference remaining, whatever it's called.
Yep.
And
Right.
yeah, all of that makes sense to have that. I
Do,
might-
go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, the other minor thing was, in a few places, they're just names that are a little bit different here than in QuickBooks, and I don't think.
We noticed that.
It will matter to you if I add income to the end of a book fund account because there's two book fund accounts,
Right.
one for expense, one for income.
Yeah,
And I chose the wrong one the other day and spent some time facing back through because I wanted the expense and they were almost the same name, but I mean, you don't mind little cosmetic changes like
No.
that, right?
if it makes it easier for you to understand it, then by all
Well, it
means.
makes it
Yeah,
consistent.
exactly.
Or
Yep.
we're adding like I think Kathy categorizes the delinquent taxes as real estate. That means, so if I just put RE at the end of like delinquent taxes, which shows up, I think, as the QuickBooks name, it kind of ties the receipts, at least so the names are all
Yep.
similar for someone that doesn't know these
Right.
things.
Yep. No, that's like I said, anything that makes it easier for you to understand.
That doesn't confuse you further.
Yeah,
No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look at Lance as I was saying that.
it's all right, we understand.
I contacted, I wouldn't be there.
All right, any other questions?
I'm learning, and few things that I'm screwing up, I'm sure, but, so far so good, I think, and again, we can.
I intend to get to the bank by the end of the week to sign the cards. Hopefully, if I may try to get there tomorrow. I have to look at what my calendar looks like if I can stay at the house versus going into work.
Yeah, and that's fine, and I know Vera's still around because I'm on vacation, so she's gonna be
Yeah.
signing if she's still on at that point.
Yeah.
I think as soon as your signatures are there, they sort of replace. My understanding is the previous one with the new one, so you and I will
Right.
be on at that point, but you'll be the one signing.
29th, right?
What's that?
It was the 29th you were on
Yeah, well,
vacation?
the 24th through March 1st, so yes, that week there. I think Vera was gonna reach out to you too, because she's coming in to print the checks that week.
Okay.
Right.
And the final thing, I forgot to say that we're upgrading, and I know you guys already had it in the budget, I think, we're upgrading to the QuickBooks Enterprise, which is the desktop.
Yep.
I don't know how you do that, like, do you have to have that on a warrant? I'm okay downloading the software once we buy it and installing it and doing all that part.
So
I just don't know how you,
my guess would be that you're gonna have to buy it offline, right?
yeah, it's all downloaded.
So you'll have to use the town credit card
25.
and then that'll go on the warrant and then we'll put, to pay the credit card.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make sure that
Yeah.
it got going, I guess.
And I guess at this point in time, this would be a appropriate time to approve the purchase of the QuickBooks on the credit card, yes?
Yes, I just had one question. Did they get back with the question that we proposed?
Budget,
Vera
budget.
proposed?
Well, either way, we gotta buy it.
He emailed me back the other day, well, he was
Yeah, we
asking
gotta
what
have
was
to,
going on with
because that's
us.
our finance.
So which question was the one that you're referring
The
to?
question that we were trying to finalize was
Updating the system that we have,
when we
Oh.
pay
what you have to
people's
do.
salaries, when we use the salary portion of it, the payroll portion. Is there an additional per person fee or is it just included?
I want to say they answered no, that it's included in the enterprise version,
Right,
but I'll clarify that. Because there were two different people that were emailing. The other question I wanted to make sure, because like you, I kind of gone and looked at the different flavors of QuickBooks. And one of them I saw seemed to suggest it had two payrolls. And then another one seemed like you could have three payrolls, and we of course need the three. So just to make sure that that's also part of
piece of
this.
it. Yeah, I think the key thing was we didn't want to go with the lesser versions because they are end of life. So if we
Yeah.
stay with the enterprise level, then we'll be able to go past this year and keep it on a computer.
And some of the other ones, like the one.
Everything else is
like
cloud.
Payroll, or anything, I think it still has a desktop version, but it doesn't include payroll, so you need the
Yeah,
full one. And
well,
you-
what happened was at the end of this year, I think it was, or the end of the
May
second
or-
quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were shutting down desktop version support and licensing and you had to go to the cloud unless you bought the enterprise
Right.
version.
no, I think I confirmed that as well, because again, I was sort of looking around
Yeah.
for. my own-
Pretty well says that we need to go to the enterprise version.
Oh, yeah, if we want to keep it on the PC or the laptop, it has to go enterprise.
For this year at least, I think, and then.
Moving forward.
Reevaluate it. And I might, because I still have a small business here on the side that I might have, because I've got to upgrade, so I might actually get the online version just to see if it's any good. So at least I will know, it doesn't matter for me, I can figure it out. It's not like a huge business, so I might at least familiarize myself with the online version for future reference. If not here for anybody else, at least know
Yeah.
I think I told you some people that I had talked to thought the online version was just crappy.
Yeah.
But it's a subjective thing. People get used to one thing or the
Yeah.
other, so you never really know until you get your own
Yeah,
hands. on it.
absolutely.
That is the truth. Excellent.
That's all I had.
Perfect.
And probably chatted longer than I needed to, but.
Nah,
All good.
we were busy, we kicked you out, so. All right, thanks for the report.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you, and I'll try and get everybody paid tomorrow.
There we go. All right,
Right, have a good evening.
want me to turn
this off since there's no.
Yeah.
yes, please.
Well, either echo,
Visitors,
none,
Dan or Katie.
and it's
See you tomorrow, Tom.
Dan Ferron.
Did Katie or Dan have anything?
They just usually. sit
Yeah, I
back
know.
and Listen. No, they
No,
type no.
perfect, thank you.
They type no.
Road reports, I talked with Mac. He said he can be here or he can join. He's at the Sugar House.
Yep.
Um,
The roads are a mess.
they went out today with the grader.
Bunch of calls Saturday.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, there's
It's like, I don't know.
nothing
There's
to do.
nothing we can
Go
do
for
about it.
But
Only thing you can do is don't stone
any
it.
stone at all,
Right.
that's what they were asking about.
Yeah, but if you
They
put
think
stone on it,
King Road is
right.
So bad already, they don't know what they'll do once or
Uh,
King Road.
Sand Hill Road, Chester Arthur Road, Bogue Road, Chimney Road, all the same.
Yeah.
They're all,
Service.
no, but what I'm saying is, it's this year because of the way the frost is and everything.
But I'm wondering
Um,
if anyone, if there's any material to put on. to
So
make
have
it-
you drove by Venusburg Garage?
No,
They have, I'm gonna say probably 30 loads of crushed stone in their yard. And they aren't touching it.
What do you
It's
suggest?
not, it's not gonna do any good right now because if
I
you take
agree.
it out there and put it in there,
It's just gonna mush down.
it's
for
just gonna
sure.
mush down.
Gamble Road today and barely passable.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them like that.
Service? Old Stage Road,
Old State.
Old Stagecoach?
Old Stage Coach Road, yeah.
This one Mackie lives on, isn't it?
Yeah,
No, he's on Gamble.
wow.
Which one's Old Stage?
He's right at the
The one
junction
for
there.
Reynolds.
Oh, no, I think that's class 4 from the end, isn't it?
I don't know. It
I-
looked like it had been graded and
No, maybe.
I just wondered if we take
I
care of
don't
that.
know where that, I'd have to
It
look
was
in
a
the map.
mess,
Oh,
a
yeah.
real mess.
I didn't
So
know.
what he told me today
Like,
was,
he went on somebody, I don't know if it's us though, it could be somebody else. I
Right.
didn't know if we serviced it or not.
so what he told me today was they had both graders out today. Helped some in some spots and other spots it made it worse.
Yeah,
Hoping it's gonna tighten up after the freeze this week.
it's gonna freeze this week and it'll harden up.
Sometimes worse.
Oh, yeah.
And they can do something, but right now, you're just moving mud.
When it freezes, they
Yeah, I
can't
can't
move it.
imagine grading is the answer for it.
No, they've tried, they tried hauling material in and back dragging it with the payloader. Talked to him about that last week, mid last week. And,
Shortly.
The thing
It
is, it
worked.
hasn't froze,
right,
so there's like water,
yeah,
like on Gamble Road, I bet the puddle is at least that deep.
right, and you can't get in there to cut it. Because there's enough frost that if you cut it, well, enough frost, but not enough frost, if that makes sense. So if they were to cut into that with the blade. There's a very fine line between you're cutting the frost. And once you cut into the frost, and it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Cause it's gonna bubble up through. It's a pain in the ass right now, and I've seen the complaints on Facebook and stuff too. Not as many as I'd anticipated,
See it
but
on Facebook.
there's been,
Got a couple
there's
phone
been
calls.
two. And. I mean, I'm not a road guy by any means, but I don't know what they can do to fix it at this point. I think it's like. I've seen other towns have their grader out and they're trying, but it's making a sloppy mess.
Yeah.
We were definitely 10 times worse than any other town I went to today.
Yeah,
No,
I was on,
Fairfield isn't.
no, I was
doing
on
any
two of
better.
Fairfields and they were,
well, it depends on the road.
and then I went into Fletcher and they were fine,
Yeah,
but
it depends on what the road looked like before it froze to begin with.
Well, that's the key.
Yeah,
That's the key because, you know, when you're on a half decent maintained road and it freezes, it stays half decent and maintained.
absolutely.
You got potholes up and down the road. You just had potholes up and down the road.
Yeah,
It's actually gets worse because it melts and turns into a soup.
Yeah, and then it can pop out even harder. Yeah, he did. We'll hit that in a
Okay.
second, so. Um. I mean, we can ask him. I've reached out to Mac.
On King Road.
Yeah,
but
I reached out to Mac, like I said last
from
week.
There saying that it's so bad they can barely. I was like,
Which end?
I mean, how many years have we had, how many years have we had like this?
I don't remember a year like this.
No.
I
don't
mean,
either.
the only reason I remember is the one your aunt buried her van that time.
right, but that was almost later. That was end of March. April.
2018.
I've never seen it this early.
I saw, what's his name, Perry? The gentleman
Yeah,
who
yeah.
passed away.
Yep,
His car was buried about 6 inches down on,
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah.
That road was horrible.
right, but what I'm saying,
Later in the
yeah, what
season.
I'm saying, John, is when was it? You know, we've never had a year where it hasn't.
I just worry
froze
about
or
what's gonna
stayed
happen,
froze.
like, there's no sap trucks, they're just barely starting.
They're just starting.
And what's that gonna be when the sap trucks
Yeah,
roll
without
on
a
these roads?
It's gonna be bad.
And I think I can check with,
understand
I
that.
can double check with Matt, but I think they are actually stockpiling some stone. At the pit. I mean, it's not gonna do any good to bring it out right now because. Quite honestly, what you've got is you've got about 3 inches of soup unless it's broke up. But then if you try to get the truck in there to dump some stone into a spot where it's broke up. You risk breaking it up worse.
Yeah, they're cutting ruts.
Yeah, it's a catch 22. I mean.
And
Yeah,
I don't think over in Lost Nation, I don't think anyone hauls out of there. Do they?
Lost Nation, no, I don't believe there's.
I believe.
That doesn't mean that a fuel truck or,
Waste truck.
Oh, yeah,
waste
it's
truck.
still over
Oh,
there.
yeah, there's
Still
the
over there,
buses,
but
I hear
I'm
the
just
guys.
thinking at least they won't have.
It won't
over
be as
there,
bad,
it
yeah.
won't be as bad because they won't have, but a couple of these other roads, it's like, my God, what's gonna happen when?
But
those
it's
sap
been
trucks
not just
start
this
rolling?
month, it's been before this too, that the roads have been bad.
Yeah, it's getting.
Not just here, but all over the state.
Well,
And
like-
it has been an unusual year and I'm afraid that there's not a lot we can do about it. Except try and live through it and put Band-Aids on when we can, and right today is not the time to try and do anything. Later on in the week, when we've had some freeze, they
I
might be
don't know
able
if
to do
we're
something.
gonna get it froze that much.
I don't think you are, and that's the
Yeah.
thing, is I think you're gonna. If you can do anything, it's getting that slight frost in there. And then maybe being able to go in and scrape off the tops of the big ruts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I know we're not the only ones in this boat. Cause
Sure
I'm
not.
I work with a person on the board in Montgomery. And she lives just outside of the Gibu. And
oh,
she's,
they've never been able to.
no, and she's got a 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma, and she was like. She goes, I would park it where it's safe and walk home, but I'd walk 5 miles.
Yeah.
oh,
She's like, it's bad. She goes, it doesn't matter. And she said the roads that she drives in on other towns. And like I said, I drive bus in the morning, Enosburgs are, they're not great.
Cross Branch, and that
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all yesterday.
Branch.
That was yesterday. Is it Branch? Is that what that road's called in West Enosburg? Going.
Oh,
through?
from West Enosburg store,
To
left
east.
towards Sheldon.
Yeah,
Yep, yeah, Branch Bridge. Yeah, that one's mostly paved. You only got the small section, but
yeah, but even that, about a month ago, it was not, it was bad,
yeah,
but now it's not bad.
oh.
yeah. Well, like John and I were talking,
It's almost.
they
not
did,
road.
they did have a time, it was about 3 weeks ago now, wasn't it, John?
Pull the grader out.
Yeah, they went in and they did haul some of that crushed stone in
Mm-hmm.
and cut the top off and
It
packed
seems
it
like
in.
what the problem is though, and maybe I'm wrong, I was looking at other roads. Because ours have a lip like this,
Holds the water,
and everyone else's goes like this.
right?
It's
So,
like going,
so when we
downward.
had, when
and
we
ours
had the
go
woman,
upward.
when we had the woman from the state here and we were over
Not for
on.
you.
It's like 2 years ago,
Yeah,
2+ years ago.
she said that our grading, our crowns were good.
So we should have that lip.
No,
No,
No, they
she
should.
said the crown of the road is good. The problem is that's excess sand buildup,
yeah,
from sanding all summer or all winter. That's excess sand buildup, cause it, like this time of year, you drive down through and what happens? And it pushes the sand out to the edges. And what we've gotta do, and I think having the excavator will definitely help.
Yeah.
Is you've almost gotta go in and you've gotta cut that road, just like what you're saying, it's gotta be. And then there has to be a very definitive edge and then your ditch line.
What they'll do is they'll go through with the grader and they'll deliberately take that shoulder, put it in the ditch. And then they'll go back through with the excavator and clean the ditch
That's the whole,
and
that's
haul it out.
typically what
You,
we,
you just can't keep pushing it out because then the road gets wider and wider and wider. And then your ditches are filled in and.
Right.
So
Right,
it's a lot of work to do,
but
but
that's,
it needs to be done. Yeah.
that's the
And Mac
main
knows
goal.
that.
Yeah,
And Bethany, I believe it was Bethany Reimers was on that report and from NRCP. And that's one of the things that she said.
she said the roads were crowned good. There's just that
on
outside
the
edge.
outside
Yeah.
edge.
Which
I
isn't,
wonder if it's the way the blade is that makes it do that.
Oh, will not be there.
that's Todd.
Yeah.
The way the blade is, so what it
Yeah.
is, Terry, is the blade is not. Right now, what's happening is the blade is here and leaving that lip. What we've gotta do is we've gotta bring the blade out over the ditch line
Yeah.
and cut that off, so it's a sharp cut.
Hmm.
Well, you service Johnson? Do you go over
No.
towards Johnson at all? So there's a road that goes from Waterville to Johnson. It's a back road before you get to Hogback. Goes up the mountain right there.
Yeah, I
And
know what road.
I
you're
was
talking
going over that a bunch this summer and they took a lot of work. They were on one stretch of road, I'm gonna say probably the length of Witch Cat for a month or better.
Isn't it called Bull Road or something like that?
It's,
Bull-
I
not
can't
Bull
remember what
Road.
the hell it is, but they were on it for, I would say probably a month. But when they were done, that road was cut, clean, ditches were good, all sodded back up, and it was a beautiful road. They put a lot of money and time into it. though.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So I'm
Because we
hopeful, huh?
now have the.
We now-
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's
I'm
what-
hopeful now that,
Until last year, the only time we did it was in the fall.
But I don't know if this could even be done, cause I don't know a damn thing about it, but. By Tyrone Shaw's,
yeah. That's just the whole,
that is, well.
cause it's so
because
close to the water
there's a
table.
lot right there,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but how would we ever get it up high enough so it wouldn't keep doing that?
you'd have to build the
'Cause
whole road up
Yeah.
2 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which would be a lot of material, cause you'd have to start back by St. Mary's Rock. And come all the way to the railbed.
that whole thing is,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep, it's,
but it still keeps coming over the road so bad there.
I don't think you'll stop that. Because of the,
Beavers,
no. It's because of the amount of area. That is a waterway for.
Yeah.
It
goes like this down both sides.
Yeah.
that comes through there, that 90, that starts, the brook head on that is up by the guy with all the ducks in Jeffersonville.
Really?
That's where the waterhead starts right there.
Okay.
So if you look
oh,
at
on the
the,
corner, yeah.
Yeah, if
but
you
like
look
it
at-
could Be the,
I
yeah,
can't remember what it's an ANR, Agency of Natural Resources map. You can click on a spot. And then go to a summary and it'll show you the entire watershed for that point.
Yep.
And the watershed for that brook in that particular area is everything from basically the ducks down through on 108. That entire mountainside, obviously, if you're heading towards Jeffersonville on your left. And then it goes out past Chase's gun shop.
Yeah.
Goes out there a
Yeah.
long ways, almost to where the horses are, the horse thing.
Mhm.
It's a huge area, so it's not really surprising when we get storms like what we've been getting.
It's good,
That
it's good
floods.
that you're dealing with all these
Watches
folk
that.
here because Chase's gunshot.
I know, I was young when I went there, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, Terry. At this point, I don't think there is a if somebody out there has an idea or something that they think we should try, I think Mac's open to suggestions at this point. I wouldn't say make suggestions to Mac, but if they wanted to submit something to us to try,
Yeah.
there's a couple of roads we might be willing to try something on because what we're
There's
trying,
nothing to lose.
yeah, exactly.
I
The
mean,
biggest is,
realize none of it's their fault. I mean, it's just the way this winter is.
Yeah,
But I was just trying to figure out what the solution would be before we get to the,
I
we
think,
haven't got to the worst part yet. We're
Yeah.
in the worst. You know, already, it's like bad.
and I think Mac is very well aware with the discussions I've had with him about it, that when it finally breaks up, they're gonna have to be right on it or they could lose some of them bad and quick.
Yeah.
So he's aware of it, yeah, so. Any other things on the roads?
just a question about truck one.
Yeah, so let's see, I took a picture of that, highlighted the two questions and then sent it to him. So it's Clark's repair on Mark's truck, engine light was on, and most of Valancourt's was too. It was heating in the engine oil and the diesel exhaust fluid needed more work to get through to the trade. I had to take Mark to Clark because Jamie can't read the codes without the computer software. So part of that's towing.
Yep.
They cleaned up
Who
two,
wanted to take it to Clark's?
Jamie, Valancourt.
Oh, Valancourt.
Yeah. Cleaned up two trees, except for what was frozen under the ice, and we did pick up the branches on the way down the hill by the cemetery.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
very much noticed that, and that looks so much better. I thank them for that. It looks a lot better. I saw where they had, that, what day was that when I had to go over there to Willie? And it's Monday?
And I see the power company took care of half.
No, I
that.
think it was last Thursday I was up here.
Okay.
And it looked much better.
Power company took care of the brush on the right-hand side between, Manette's and Harrison's old house.
Oh, yep. And he said he'd get those branches once he can.
The power company did?
Yeah, the power line runs right through there. You can't see it, but.
Oh, it's in the woods there.
Yeah,
Comes-
it's just off the road on the
Comes
right
to
hand.
my house.
Yeah.
Comes right down my property.
They've been cleaning
Goes
on
up over
that.
there, yep,
Yeah.
behind,
They've been working on that in the last few days, so
but
that's
where
cleaned up.
where you're talking right there,
Mhm.
if they cut back that power line, we'd not lose, but there'd be a good 50-foot, 60-foot swath of trees that would be cut right there.
Yeah.
But it's in the woods.
You get a 25-foot right away on.
That's
each
what I'm
side of it.
saying. It'd be a hell of a swath for sure. All right, it says ATV stickers. Tammy, do you have an idea as to?
You guys want me to order those? Because, last year we had people calling like March, we wanted to
Yep.
buy them.
Yeah, might as well order them then.
Okay,
How-
I can pick a color?
Just as an idea of how many we need to order, did we have a lot left from last year?
I think we just went over 100 last year.
Okay, can we do like a 150?
Let's do like a 200.
Okay.
It's not, I mean, it's just not that expensive and,
Okay.
I think if you had them in March, maybe some of those people in March who had to wait till and like May, maybe they would have gotten them and maybe they didn't come back. I don't know. Plus, if you guys have any kind of a roadblock like you were talking about last year, where somebody's there with the sheriff or something and you stop them and they don't have a thing, they could buy that or get a ticket. Remember you talked about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just kind of beef it up because, I think if they know people are watching, plus we've had like 2 towns call about what we're doing with the stickers
Yep, well, there we go.
and they want to do it.
Tammy, we talked about putting a bunch of things where you could buy stuff online. And using credit cards online and stuff like that.
We haven't gone forward with that. John and Vera had talked about it and John had been in contact with people. Then there was a transition with Tom. I think Tom's willing to do that, but
Did you drop the ball?
No, I think,
No, it was-
I thought we decided not to do it because of.
Oh, we
the
did.
fees.
Was I
I
here for
thought we were gonna do it. You guys decided to do it.
that?
Main reason to do it, it was gonna cost so much for people to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they don't have to use it.
But why sit here
them.
and install, why install something, a credit card, blah, 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 when no one's gonna wanna use it? The idea was to collect taxes with it, right,
Right.
primarily. And
No,
collect-
the idea is to collect anything with it. Fees, you know,
but we would have to charge for them to use it.
It was a
But that's
why
it was a
it's gonna be a
3 or
loss to us.
6% usage charge.
That
That
was-
was-
that's what everybody must be doing that same charge. And everybody's asking if you've got digital, you know, if I do something on digital, I know there's gonna be a charge. But a lot of people do, like a lot of the attorneys will,
Digital stuff, I don't know what you're doing, mine costs 0.
Well, that's because they build it into the price.
No.
Oh. No, I use my bank and automatically
My
send
bank
it.
card, I don't get
what are
charged.
the other towns using then that don't have any fee?
I don't know, when I talk to people, they're not, they're using the fee thing, but they're saying no real activity happening on it. It was determined, Vera, maybe we'll float it with Tom again, but it was determined that we weren't gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay,
So Tammy, my suggestion then would be on the town website. Under the ATV sticker thing,
mhm.
as you know, if they're self-addressed stamped envelope and they can do it through mail.
Yeah. Mail
Well,
it.
have you been on our town website?
No, why?
It's been like that for a year.
Well, there you go. I don't have an ATV that I take down the road, so I don't look at ATV stickers.
I do, but I come here to get it.
Yeah, it's been like that for a year. We get a lot of them by mail.
We can
Okay,
figure out a new one.
I'm gonna put a check mark next to ATV stickers because I consider that done.
It's
Any
done.
others on roads? No,
This repair this was just wear and tear repair?
no, so it threw a code. That's what I just read to you. March had a check engine light on and took it to Valancourt's. They couldn't do it. The engine was overheating the oil and the DEF needed more work than they thought it needed. And then Jamie's is the tow bill to Clark's.
But the DF thing is just a wear and tear thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's that stupid government issue with all diesels, the diesel exhaust fluid, which is
Yeah.
causing all sorts of problems with motors, so. Yes, not a operator error.
Right.
So no other others in roads?
No, I don't
Perfect.
think so.
Merp?
They're due on site.
On the roads, what did we decide with those 2 trees?
The trees that are
They're
gone.
gone. They're gone.
They already did the ones on the park too?
That's what he said here.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the
We
trees down
we
here.
cleaned up the 2 trees except for what was frozen under the ice, and we did pick up the branches along the roadway down by the hill by the cemetery.
Okay, the 2 trees over, okay. I
Yeah.
misunderstood that. I thought
That's
you were
all right.
talking here.
I haven't driven by during the daylight to be able to see it. So.
I did see that one though.
Merp?
Scheduled for tomorrow.
Fence.
Nice.
Lance, sorry, Max sent me an email and said, hey, do I need to be there? I said, you should plan to be there in case they have any questions, because his thing was, well, there'll be the times they're talking about, both offices are opening. But I believe, maybe I didn't realize he was gonna prep for maple season, but I told him he should be there.
That's probably why he's boiling tonight, to be honest with you, so that he can be there for tomorrow.
All right,
We can ask him before we leave, though.
yeah, just remind him that he's gonna be there tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah. Warrants and reports are going.
what's this Brigham? First it said expense and then they said grant. What, lift?
That's the architects that were coming through the contractor wanted some natural light in there. Okay,
Oh,
so he offered in good faith. The contractor offered his lift, but it's a huge one. And we'd had to have a big trailer. We couldn't get one on short notice without renting one. It was cheaper to go down and buy rent a tow behind than it was to rent the trailer.
mhm.
So we got the tow behind from Greens. They took 7 sheets of plywood off.
Out.
And put them back.
They have,
And
have
then
they
back.
come and looked at them yet? I don't
I don't know.
know.
They put them back.
Don't keep them off too long. though.
God,
Right.
no.
Review the mail. I didn't see new mail out there.
I took the stuff off you. All I
Yeah,
got was
I didn't
that
see new mail. I saw reports and I saw warrants.
Tammy, is there any mail?
Yeah, there's definitely mail out there in new mail.
Thanks,
Find that new mail folder.
You could have lied, you know.
Make our
Oh,
lives.
I know there is.
While he's getting the mail, you have anything about Brigham?
Yes, I do. The other day, we had, the contractor and his architects, plus, a representative from, Northwest Regional Planning Commission, plus, someone from, the Historic Preservation Trust. We walked through Brigham. As I said, they, requested some natural light. We've dramatically changed a baseline plan of how the rooms will be laid out, but not the overall plan. I think we came up with 17 or 18 rooms, and the contractor felt that that would be enough to make the project work. We're moving forward. Everybody is optimistic. I have, on another note with the Brigham grant, I have an issue with Dreher Design. I'm getting ready to submit for repayment. Dreher Design is 32,000 of the 45. It seems that we, as a select board, and I'll take blame for this because I didn't catch it. But we paid the May of 23 invoice twice. But fortunately, invoice number 24 is the exact same amount. He's been approached. We'll just not pay the February invoice, which is also for $1,000. And he's okay with that, so it all washes out in the end.
You know, I think part of the problem is, and it is we get it the first week, the first meeting, and we sign a bunch of warrants to pay people. We look through and we go, yep. And then we get it again 2 weeks later, and we look and it, baby, did they come at the same time?
On 4 separate occasions, we paid 2 invoices at once.
And we need to, I did ask questions about not that, but just why we keep paying them. But,
It's been pretty much a monthly bill,
yeah, it's the problem.
and it's reimbursable by the grant.
And I think I even alluded to like a lawyer type fee. Oh, I opened the paper, looked at it, closed it. Here's your month
Yeah.
bill. If you've ever had a
No, he has
divorce
reached,
lawyer, you learn that fast.
he has reached the limit of his expenses for this project. It's about $32,000. He has
What did you do for that 32,000 though?
a lot of work out there. He's contacted a lot of people. He's done conceptual drawings.
He's the architect, engineer, and kind of GCing everything at this point.
He's been working on it since March of 2020.
He's the point man for all the contacts. He's
Yeah.
kind of the guy that brought all the contacts together.
If you're interested, I have an overview of all the invoices here if you want to review them. And I have all the invoices to back it up and canceled checks. Part of what I need to submit for a federal grant. If you want to look at them, they're right here, Terry.
No, I just wondered what he had
No,
done.
no, I
for that.
absolutely understand that you might not completely trust the expenses, but I will fall back to my original line saying these are reimbursable. I just gotta get it down, and I wanted to put this before the board and make sure this is okay with the board before I submitted it.
You mean skipping the one payment because we've already paid it?
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I mean, do you need it in a motion?
I don't believe so. And if you want to do that, that's up to you.
Josh? You want it in a motion?
It doesn't hurt anything to make a motion on it.
And I make a motion that we utilize the overpayment, which was payment from May, payment number 19, to be used as payment 24 in the February 2024 invoice. Is that good? There you go.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, sorry.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Is that all you have on the burger?
The heck?
Yeah. It's boots and stuff.
I do have, I will have a brief,
I wouldn't pay for that.
I'll speak to the matter on town meeting day. And we will have an informational meeting. We're looking at sometime in April now.
Okay, for Brigham?
Okay.
For Brigham, yeah. So my guess would be he bought those. You treat your leather with a shoe oil.
Yeah.
And then if you want the caps to stay on the
glue.
tip so that the toe lasts longer, you glue some caps on there.
Yeah,
And
it
they
makes a
fit.
big difference with steel toe. If you don't, the steel toe, the leather on the steel toe boot wears out pretty quick.
I have to wear steel toe.
I used to.
I want the composite, much more comfortable, a lot warmer in the winter. Crush factor is not as good. Yeah, the crush factor is better, the cut factor is not.
Yeah.
All right, so new mail.
Do they have to have a certain,
Type.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw the second one. I just figured so long as they're work boot. I don't think we require a specific type of clothes. It's the clothing allotment.
Yeah, they make a work boot.
Yeah. It obviously it's
They're
not
actually-
as good as
they're
a
actually
higher
pretty
end,
comfortable.
but
I mean, I don't wear them because they're not my style, but if I was driving a truck all day.
I looked at it. I did the same thing, Terry. I scratched my head and then figured it out a minute.
oh, the steel toe.
So Max said for MERP, he's meeting with them in both places, so he's good there. So this one confuses me. So we have a ticket
A ticket.
from our town constable,
Oh, cool.
for Sand Hill Road,
Okay.
which is not in our.
It's not in our jurisdiction.
Well, okay, so maybe it says butternut. Following previous warnings and officers to assist with Mr. Patty Filler to prevent dog Duke from running at large. So the dog is not in Bakersfield.
But it's coming in the Bakersfield. Right? Is this the dog on Sand Hill, right at Butternut?
Yeah,
It was at my house when they very first moved in. Nice dog, very, very nice. Doesn't,
at your house.
In
my home
Bakersfield.
in Bakersfield. When they first moved in, the dog took off, ran through the woods. They lost it for a few hours.
Right.
It has a collar with a phone number on it.
Yep.
We called them. They said, we just moved in and the dog kind of ran.
Yep.
They're like, okay, come on over and pick it up. It was like midnight. That dog was crying.
No,
It was a nice dog, they came over, they picked it up, thanked us and left. What seems to happen is the dog is coming obviously into Bakersfield. So
Town?
into, well, in the Bakersfield,
It's
in the
crossing the
line,
town line.
Oh,
right? It's coming.
So
it's
they
coming-
live at the intersection of Butternut and Sand Hill.
Right.
They live here.
Can't help it.
Okay.
The dog's coming in.
Bakersfield's town line, you go down past where Kathy Marshy used to live,
Yeah.
up the other side and
Where Houston's.
where Houston's live. Houston's where I think the first
Oh,
house in
actually,
Bakersfield.
it's exactly, the first house is our constable's house.
oh,
Okay.
Lonnie and Chris, I think that's the first house in the town on Butternut.
So is this
so what's the violation? Let's see.
the dog goes to his house?
Dog what?
And
That's
the fine is,
conflict of interest is.
The dog did what?
The dog's crossing the town line,
and the fine is,
$25.
Yeah, it's just a regular fine for
Yeah.
a dog
Yes.
that's not on a leash.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's a dog, not on a leash. If we start at least enforcing it, maybe people start keeping their dogs on leashes.
Well, the leash law never was outside of the town limits.
Well,
Not
that's,
as this, the dog's coming into the town.
that's a
No,
dog from
I'm
Unifor.
talking back when
Town
we
limits,
started the
not
leash law,
Village.
it was village limits, had nothing to do with the outside.
It's,
The leash law was village limits only.
I don't disagree with.
I think the way it's worded is you have to have your animal under control.
Right, the dog is not, whether it came from Enosburg or Swanton or Sheldon, the dog's in Bakersfield, the owner doesn't have control of their animal, it's running around. You get a ticket. You know, just because you live in Enosburg and you drive fast in Bakersfield, you still get a ticket. They don't wait for you to drive fast in Enosburg, you get a ticket. And it seems like already previous warnings and offers of assistance.
I think it's a conflict of interest, I'm sorry.
If it's coming on.
If it's coming on his
Well,
property, he's got a problem with his neighbor, he should not use his
No,
authority.
this isn't a neighbor, understand, his
Yeah, it is.
property.
It is a neighbor.
It's less than a half mile from his house.
Yeah, but
There's
the dog is-
10 neighbors between him and that house, you know, right?
But the dog has been
Driving
to
the dog
John's
is
house,
supposed to
which
be
is
back.
way past
Yeah,
his.
and who says,
one
who
time.
says he got it at his house?
It says that town line.
His running Mr. says it failed to prevent his dog Duke from running at large. Or it is for dog hybrids, cats. No, it doesn't say town line here at all.
Does say town. Site of issue, town line.
What is shop?
Place or landmark town line. But he's saying,
Not PPE.
what?
Safety equipment.
Personal
Yeah.
protective equipment.
What is it though?
Could be anything.
Could be
Safety
anything.
glasses, safety glasses, steel toe shoes.
Hell, it could be jeans. Chaps.
Oh, wait, it might say it on the
I
back.
agree with this.
I do.
I agree with it. We need to start freaking making people accountable for their animals.
Yeah.
Run all over the town.
And
Jacket.
quite frankly, we
Oh,
need
to look at their high
support
vis jacket,
gentlemen.
because that's a
Exactly.
jacket and that's a
I don't
sweatshirt.
disagree with what he did.
Alright, I mean,
So
so then.
at the very least, we need to support this.
So
gentleman.
then every dog
Running loose.
is, and so I've seen multiple complaints on Facebook.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yes,
Yeah,
People
John.
drive me nuts with it.
You give someone 2-3 warnings, they're still running around.
Okay.
You write them a ticket.
Right, what I'm saying is,
Where?
what I'm saying is,
It says that somebody outside the village limits has to have their dog on a leash.
that doesn't say you have to have them on leash. You have to have them
Under
under
control.
control.
And we have an actual
Yes.
that says
The
that
ordinance, there's an animal control ordinance. that
Yeah.
I printed out and gave to everyone.
It says that they have to be under control.
I have to find it again. But,
oh, I'm not disagreeing with it. What I'm saying is. I do believe there's a conflict of,
thing.
it's a conflict of interest because, so hear me out.
Go ahead.
It's a conflict of interest because we've had multiple complaints
Mhm.
on Facebook
In other areas.
and other areas that have not been addressed.
I don't
So,
yeah,
this one is a dog of his neighbors, and I'm using neighbor
Loosely.
liberally, yep. And this one is being cited because it's something that he can see from his front porch.
you know, I think that if that dog bit someone, will we be having this conversation?
I don't know.
Right? I'll tell you, the dog is a pleasant dog. I
know.
dealt with the dog.
So I'll say the dog
It
is
was a nice
laying on the porch every morning when I drive my bus.
Hmm.
And kids are getting on and off my
I
bus,
called the owner.
Doesn't bother me.
and he lays on the porch.
The
And
problem is they need.
He went to
people on
Erickson's
the-
and got it.
Now, listen, in Enosburg, it doesn't, you know, maybe Enosburg ordinance says that
So-
you don't have to.
Here would be my my thing is, my thought would be that this wouldn't be us issuing the ticket, this would be us contacting the Enosburg town dog catcher.
Not if the
No.
violation's in
No, It's in
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield. It's in Bakersfield.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So are you saying that he should be responding to the complaints on Facebook? Or he should wait until someone contacts the constable because of a problem?
They
You should be
wait.
responding to calls.
Yeah, he should wait. Facebook. I
So
said
so the
Facebook is
Facebook
not-
complaints are totally irrelevant.
Yeah,
If they're
Somebody-
not calling him, then
It's not happening.
it's
Yeah,
not happening.
because he's a town, he works for the town in an official capacity. And as we all said, we're not following the Facebook feeds. People have problems, they need to either come to the meetings or come to the town. So they
Right.
can call and make it official, hey, this dog's sitting on my porch.
so we have the
Yeah.
complaint from this original issue?
I
Or
don't know.
is he
You
the
don't-
complainant?
I don't know. You.
That I would agree needs to be clarified. We
I
would
don't-
ask,
Because, I mean,
I
if
can't
you're,
remember his name, I'm
if you're
sorry.
gonna,
Chris, we should ask Chris for a copy of the complaint.
I see this thing.
you know what I'm saying, John?
Oh, that's totally.
You can't
fair.
use- it'd be- I can't use my position as select board chair to take care of an issue I have with my neighbor.
I get you. I get you. To me, a neighbor's the neighboring property, not several down. However,
Well,
I
that's.
totally
that would
understand what
make
you
me from the
said.
City then,
I
cause.
totally-
No, I agree.
I consider
we should
Lance
ask
my neighbor.
I don't.
We should ask,
Near me.
Chris for a copy of the complaint in future.
I think the other thing
And
is,
we may call him up and ask for it in this one.
I just,
I don't know. I have a problem with the whole damn thing. I'm sorry.
it
then we
seems,
can't, then.
It's not
we
like,
can't
it's not
complain
like
that the
this
dogs are out.
dog ate somebody's chickens or it happens.
There's-
Sometimes it happens. Your dog gets loose. You try to find it and you can't always find it. Like I said, I called a guy the other day because they had one on Facebook. Hey, I've got this dog. It was funny though, because he showed the phone number. And I was like, so call the dude.
yeah,
So I called him and I was like, hey, are you looking for your dog? He's like, I am. I'm like, well, they got a picture of him on Facebook. That's how I got your number. This is where he is. I'll reach out to the guy and see if he can hold him there till you get there. He's like, I'm on my way.
yeah,
It's way too many. Listen, I went over, Lance went over. You went over, I went over and dealt with the one set of dog complaints. Hence why I printed out and handed out the documents that we have.
right,
The dogs are getting loose. The dogs, according to the ordinance, if I remember accurately, your
yep,
dog's not allowed to leave the property line. If it exits your property line and enters into the roadway, you're at fault.
I guess that would depend on what Enosburg's ordinance is, since the dog originates in Enosburg.
Well, it was
Yes,
yours, the property line and name of road. in
The
Bakersfield.
dog was caught in Bakersfield.
If that dog.
We don't know, hey, the speed limit in Enosburg is 40. And you gave me a speeding ticket for going,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying,
For
I understand what you're saying, but a dog and a speeding ticket are completely different.
It's a violation. They ran over, it's a kid riding an ATV over here erratically in the middle of the highway. It's all the same thing. Once you cross the line, the town line, you gotta follow that town's rules.
if you can't follow the ordinance, then we don't need the ordinance.
Right, we can't enforce our ordinance only for our town, our town. For animals that are coming into our town, we have to enforce it as well.
So. I guess you're right, you responded to a dog call, I responded to a dog call, Lance responded to a dog call,
Mhm.
all the same property.
Yep,
I went, I discussed what would the next steps are, that was the second or third visit.
right. I went, discussed the steps twice and gave them a copy of the ordinance saying fines are following if the dogs get loose.
Correct.
I went 3 times and I also gave him a copy of the ordinance.
And all of these steps were documented, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, we put it into, yeah.
Where's the documentation?
We agreed on that.
He's the constable.
We did agree on that earlier,
Yeah,
that we should have a copy of the complaint.
Yeah,
Right.
as a constable, as a police officer.
He's
even
not
though
a
it's
police officer.
Even though it's the constable's capacity, he's monitoring the town and addressing or enforcing the code or ordinance.
In his front yard.
I don't know where he got that.
And that also needs
The
clarification.
town line is not his house. I said he's the last house at the line.
Right.
I mean, it goes about another 50
Yeah, I
feet.
guess I
down the-
wanna see what the documentation was to reach to that level.
But I don't think we clip his wings. This is the very first one, and hopefully, honestly, more to follow. There are too many animals running loose in this town friendly and or not.
I've never seen any.
You haven't, you tell me, you're looking on Facebook, you see all the complaints, people winding up with dogs in their backyards, at their house. That dog wound up at my back
I've
porch.
seen one on Main Street loose with nobody. Never,
Really?
really.
I do.
I've chased dogs down on the
He had a
road.
nice little coat on too. And he came around and I was just watching to see if he was gonna go for my chickens. But then he heard my dogs barking inside and he took off and he went down heading south.
It's a.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah, I see
seen
him.
chickens.
I've had dogs up in my house.
And you know what the problem is?
I've never had a dog in my
I've
house.
never had a problem.
Always stays.
But
The
I've
dog
had
comes out and it takes off because it sees something in the woods or
Yep.
here's something, now it's lost and it can't get home.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yep.
But it winds up at other people's houses. Sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they're not.
Yep.
Had
I-
one in here actually, because Heather Jewett found it and couldn't find a place to
Oh, yeah.
have it be overnight. And then
Yeah.
it was in here and then the guy who owned it did end up coming. It was probably about 11:30.
Yeah, it was Heather and Rosalie.
Yep,
Yeah, that was like a month and a half ago.
but it
Is
got
that-
loose again like about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. They were
But,
trying to.
No, I'm just as guilty. When I had dogs, I didn't keep them on a leash or a run. And
I've
then
never leashed.
Oh,
they went to the neighbors and,
I'm not in the village limit.
but it's not, it's the leash law within the village limits. But outside the village limits, you have to have that animal under control.
Yeah, it's gotta stay on your property.
Yeah,
Once it leaves. your property-
running, once it leaves your property, it's not under your control. And I
get that.
I'm just as guilty as the next guy. When I had dogs, I didn't do it.
No.
And I've had all kinds of dogs on the farm and
I
on
think
my
this-
property.
This goes with that guy down in southern Vermont. It's the definition of control. I'm not saying he does have control of the dog. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, you say as soon as that dog steps off your property, you've lost control of that dog, and I don't think that's true at all.
Well, if the dog's a mile away,
That's, I said, yeah, this is. Not all of us
We don't
can go
know.
a mile and still be on our property, Lance.
I don't know because I don't have the report.
Right.
I'm not gonna pass judgment until I see a report. Because we don't know, I would quite frankly, where the dog was.
Where it went.
Hmm?
I had one, I couldn't even tell you where she went, but when I'd step to that back door and give a whistle, she'd be right by my feet in no time flat.
Most of them are good.
She'd be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, most of them are good.
So,
I
so I think what I'm asking is, we need more documentation for this.
yes,
No, we'd like a copy of the complaint. Like I said,
yes,
even the state trooper and or the sheriff fills out a complaint form,
Right.
yes.
as a complaint form. So we need a copy of a complaint. That's all.
Did it get paid? Did Dylan pay it?
I don't think it's been mailed. I think this is it waiting to be mailed.
Yeah.
He wanted approval before mailing it out.
And I think that we
Oh.
asked for a copy of the complaint.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Someone make a complaint, or while he was driving, he came upon the dog, put it in the car and took it back home. Either or, that's
Yeah.
what all I wanna know.
Copy.
What else do we have in the mail? We're beating this
Conversation
one to
with the
death.
owner.
That, I don't know what this is unless it goes with that, but probation and parole office.
Thank you.
Still willing.
I don't.
Right. Opportunities for community service. We are currently on their service list or
Are we
willing to continue.
I don't know what that goes with.
It-
It,
Do you know what that is,
does-
Tammy?
Right.
the yellow paper,
Not, I don't know what that is, so I sent it on to you guys.
do you know where it came from?
Who's it from?
Isn't there a return address at the top or something, or a letterhead?
Is there anything on the?
There's
top of it?
there's a name and a phone number, but I don't know who Samantha is.
It doesn't say like what the program is.
Wasn't Samantha the woman who became our treasurer for 2 weeks?
That's one Samantha.
I don't know.
That's one Samantha.
I mean, I know, I can think of like 4 Samanthas,
There's,
but
there's no listing of what the program is there.
no, it's,
Hang on a
What's
second.
it say again?
It says Samantha gives a phone number, probation and parole office, still waiting to provide opportunities for community service.
I mean, are we making it say community service?
No,
What's it for?
she
They're
needs,
currently on their service.
she's looking to do some community service
read that.
to
Huh?
fulfill her probation and
We're
parole.
on our service list.
List, okay.
Are we willing to continue? So I don't have the number in my phone.
That'd be.
Well, I would hope you wouldn't have that.
I
number.
don't know if I called it once before and I called Samantha at home.
Is the dog on probation?
Oh,
Dogs on probation.
it's on probation.
Looking to do community service.
See if there's any community service
Yeah.
that we could provide her with is what it sounds like to me.
Okay. At this point, we don't have any.
Tell her as soon as spring comes, she can pick up the brush on the.
I got the impression that it was like a organization that was wanting to know if we would remain on their list for them to like.
Actually,
provide
no, I
people who
think
needed.
I think it's probation and parole office. And
Yeah.
this Samantha works for them. And
Yeah,
she's looking to see, are we willing to let any of them come into our community and do some community service?
that was my understanding.
Tammy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna put this yellow piece of paper, I don't know where the cameras are anymore, in the new mail folder.
Yep.
Can you call the number at the top and get clarification on what she's looking for and?
Yep.
Yeah, that's just, there's a lot of,
We lost
More info, please.
the small school.
probably. You're reaching out to Chris?
No, I was actually just trying to figure out.
No, I'm saying.
You guys can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
yes.
okay, that's all I was. All right. Adapted versus, morning, Josh. I'm writing from Grand Isle Select Board with some questions regarding moving to an appointed versus an elected town treasurer clerk position. If you or your board would like to take a few minutes and provide some feedback on the following questions, our board would appreciate it as we're looking into this for our town. Thank you for your time, thoughts, and input. We've also attached questions in a Word document if that's easier. What motivated you to switch to appointed versus elected? Lack of applications?
Yep.
Well, we
Right
went.
down, yeah, you filling that out? Fill it
Yeah,
out.
Lack of local participants.
LAC?
There's no one who wanted to run for the position.
I would say lack
No
of
candidates.
candidates with qualifications.
There you go.
About qualified?
Yeah.
Well, it
Lack of
wasn't,
qualified,
but it's an elected position. I mean, I wasn't qualified per se to be select board. I got on here and kind of,
We know.
thanks, mulled through it, right? I mean, you know.
That's a little different.
it's huge.
This is
'Cause
a
you guys-
position where you can work with the people on the board to understand and. You know,
But from experience, we've learned that a person who is not qualified to fill a position can be elected to it.
Exactly.
And we
That's the
can,
point I was getting.
Yeah.
Is being elected, you can't do anything about it.
right?
Once they're in, they're in.
Yep.
were you able to get a qualified treasurer in the required 45 days? No.
No,
Well. Did we though? We did.
Not the first several times. We went several times.
We got one.
Yeah.
You can say yes, we
We got-
only because Vera stepped forward.
Right.
I got Vera,
That it's only because Vera was willing to step forward. and
yeah,
fill it.
there was no qualified treasurer that was appointed other than Vera, and then we finally got Maria.
Well, that's what I'm saying is,
did get Maria, that's
so the
true.
first one was elected, yes, no?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Audrey was elected,
then we got.
Then-
Maria
And she
with
resigned.
45.
Then we went with appointed,
Vera.
Vera, well,
We got
Maria,
and
Vera.
so-
Was Maria a treasurer from the jump? Like, did she
Yes.
already have accounting experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So yes, but the turnover rate was rapid to begin with.
Rapid.
You didn't ask
So-
for that, don't go too far. No, I'm just
Well, it's to them, it's nothing to us.
I know.
That's his response. Bottom two in red. I think it's just because it's on the border.
Also gives you more control in who's gonna be in the position. Where if you get only one candidate on that ballot,
Just what you were saying.
Bottom
Yeah.
three in red. So,
Yeah, that's a personal issue.
I guess, I mean, but if he wasn't the one living there,
Then the person would have to call and make a complaint.
or just happens he gets the dog when he's there, but I hear you.
So I'm just playing the devil's advocate. What should Chris have done? Come to us and complain to us?
yes,
I guess.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be like if somebody,
So
As
you say,
one of
you're
the
you're the constable.
right, but. You know,
If it had been anybody else, we wouldn't have a problem, but since it is the constable's house.
it's a conflict of interest. At which point, you know, the assistant constable. I.e. the select board. Would be the ones that would be brought in. You know, a state cop cannot arrest his neighbor because his neighbor keeps trespassing on his property.
He has to call the police.
He has to call the police.
Yep.
So in my personal opinion. Yeah, he should have come to us, expressed what was going on. And we could have issued the ticket.
and I'm really
You
surprised.
can't issue a
personally.
ticket.
We can issue a ticket as the assistant constable.
Yeah,
We don't, no, you can't. I couldn't, I was told I could not issue a ticket.
I was
What has he
told the
done to
same.
become a,
I was told the same thing.
so what has he done to become a constable?
I don't think he's done the training to enable him to write a ticket.
So then this is null and void.
I think we've talked about sending him to Pittsburgh, I don't know how many times.
So this doesn't even, this
that doesn't
is,
exist.
this doesn't even pertain. At this time, he doesn't,
He can't legally write a ticket until
this
he's had the
time?
training to do so.
So he's not even our constable.
Not really. I mean,
at this time,
John and I got the same spiel from two different troopers.
no, I remember.
Alright, so I
And,
guess right now, our best bet is to send a kind letter.
What did Lieutenant Philippek say about what that he could do? Remember, it didn't sound like so bleak when he was talking about what Chris could do.
No,
Or
once
sound
he got,
ordinances.
once he got, he has to get like a level 1 or 4, I don't know which way it goes. Officer training.
Yeah,
But he said
yeah.
even with the officer level training, the basic, he could do not a whole lot more than he can do now, he said.
Right,
That
he can,
is true.
he can issue tickets for town ordinances.
And that's not a town ordinance.
It is, but he's not qualified.
He hasn't gone.
He hasn't got the training.
I
Yes,
think he said he could do that. I thought
No.
Lieutenant Philippek said he could do that.
We were told that you have to go for the training in
You can't
Pittsburgh.
even be
I
constable.
remember that. I remember that, John, but I just feel like Lieutenant Philippek didn't seem to back that up.
Yeah, but God love Lieutenant Phillip, he's not the governing body of Vermont. We have to follow the statute. They need to go for
You
the
actually
training.
can't be constable without going to it.
The trooper that I talked to said that she couldn't even write a ticket because she didn't have that
That's just
specific
weird.
training.
Yeah, you have to go down for a course. It's a couple hours, couple days, I don't know which. They do the whole dog.
So I guess it's either
Training
send him a
thing and a
letter
ticket
letting
thing.
him know he doesn't have the authority to even be the constable at this point in time because he has
Yeah.
not gone to the training. Or invite him in to tell him.
Well,
One or the other.
the problem is we have to determine whether or not we're willing to send somebody to get to training, but yet this position has to be held at the town level, right?
It doesn't have to be.
Well, it's one of the,
Had
it's one of
anybody yet?
the, it's one of
It's
the
got
mandatory
years.
positions.
Josh, we've had several years without filling the position.
Right, but what I'm saying is
I
it's a
don't think
mandatory
there's-
position.
It
which
is.
means it's filled by a select board member if he's not
And
on.
we're in the same boat. We can't write
We can't
ticket.
do anything.
We can't do a damn thing, so. What do you do? All right, I'll call the police. You call the police and they say,
It's a dog, get over it.
and that's exactly what I expected. No, John, I haven't received any feedback from, no, John, I haven't. I haven't received any feedback or communication from the select board following our meeting. So I haven't proceeded with any formal training.
Right, because we don't know.
we have to give him the okay to go to Pittsburgh and get trained.
Right, but if he goes down there and gets the
So-
training,
I
Right.
guess
We
you
are
can let
then
him know at this point,
liable.
then he is not considered our town constable.
that was one of the things
Until
that
we have,
Todd was talking about.
Right, it's liable on an insurance
Liability.
level, and one of the towns said you can't do it, but then you
But he
can't.
also has to have,
But then again, we fall right back to it's a mandatory position to be filled.
but he also,
Follow our ordinances.
but he also has to have sponsorship.
no, he's not a constable before we get sued by him going on somebody's property and acting as constable.
Means we gotta get off our asses and make up our mind whether we're gonna
Yeah.
have him trained or not.
We're jerking this guy around, he wants to do it. We got a guy who wants to do it, who wants to do it for the good of the
It
town.
was
Do we
an
need to
issue.
do it, yeah or nay?
Money. I don't think it costs that much.
Didn't he also
I
have
have
to
no
have
idea.
sponsorship from another law enforcement agency?
That's for the next level.
The state trooper who's friends, he's friends with.
Yeah, I've got a state trooper who's a friend of mine too, but that don't mean they're gonna sponsor me as a freaking.
And I think that's to be our full blown chasing a car down, carrying a gun with flashing lights.
Right.
This is constable 2, constable 1.
That's the clarification that needs to be
Yeah.
But
established.
now, we don't have one established, and he needs to know that.
I'll call him after the meeting and express that we're trying to figure out what it takes to get the insurance to cover it. And then we can decide, to send him to training. And then.
We'll let him know, but
It's not a new problem.
going forward, make it very clear, he is not the constable of the town of Bakersfield at this point in time, because we have not ourselves as a board followed through with what needs to be done for him to become a constable. And
And
once we get that figured out, we'll reach back out to him.
when we
If
have.
he
the
still has a
meetings-
problem with this dog and he wants to call the local authorities, as in the Vermont State Police, feel free.
When we have town meeting day,
Yep.
I think last town meeting day, we brought up constable. And we said, does anyone want to do it? And no one said yes. If he shows up at town meeting day and says he wants to be constable and people go, we put it to a vote and he says, yep, then he's town constable.
Right, with no authority.
With
Right,
no
but
authority.
Until we
So,
consent.
yeah.
He could go and do that.
Mhm. He can't go do this
He can't do anything.
can't do
not
this.
Until he's trained.
till he's
Right.
trained.
He has the title of constable right now. So yes, he is our town constable, but he has no authority over anything at this point. He has a title with no authority.
That's the catch-22.
Yeah.
And it is our responsibility to, and it is not a unique problem.
Tools he needs.
The
but
answers, we just gotta ask the right people for the answers.
Yep,
It's not a tools that he needs, John. It's the fact that 90% of our towns in Vermont don't have a licensed official constable.
Yep.
no,
No, I
No, it's just, I mean, and we've tried to get contracts with the state police.
right,
It was voted down.
right.
We've tried to get the sheriff's department to come through. Too busy, too thin.
Right.
too expensive.
And
Too
we asked
expensive.
for a contract with the county sheriff's department,
Right.
and it was also voted down.
Yeah,
Was-
no, that was the state police, because the state police were
Yeah,
cheaper than,
earlier.
earlier.
Before you were on
I
board.
was gonna say, because
And I'll tell you frankly, the county can't control it on
State police, you have a contract with the state police. The state police, they are supposed to come for nothing.
Common sense would say that, yes.
Sure.
That's not how it is in reality.
Contract though with the state police.
Yeah.
yes, you can,
Yes, you can.
because we had one.
It's.
With the state-
We had one written up.
I'd
Yep,
like to see that.
They're
because-
not doing it, they're not doing it anymore. I mean, that one got voted down, but we did have one written up, like
Yeah,
Josh
they're
said.
not offering, that was my next.
They're
question.
stretched too thin,
Offering.
so
I
they're
was
not
gonna
offering
say,
that.
That
because
was 3 years ago, 4
when
years
I
ago.
asked about state police, they told me, no, you can't, that the state police is
Huh.
your free service.
Yeah, it's not free, but yeah.
Well, as far as,
Yeah.
a town doesn't pay,
You already
the
paid
tax
certain
dollars
taxes.
pay,
Okay, so to put that one to bed,
but the
John,
I'll
sheriff,
fill them afterwards.
yeah, and explain to him, he has the title of town constable, but
Right.
at this point, he has absolutely zero authority over anything.
Yeah, we have to figure out the liability, the insurance aspect, and then he has to go to training.
Right.
Yes,
They're the three things that still have.
I mean,
Yeah.
he can be, what is that, oh no, you can't even act as the dog catcher. I mean, he can be the go-to from our citizens to make a phone call to the state police if they do not feel comfortable making it themselves, but that's about the extent of it.
And keep in mind, as we go down this path, we're back in the Wonderlic issue. That we are exposing us on the other side of the pendulum, right? Where someone does get harmed by the dog, we have ordinances in place. And we have not empowered anyone in order to enact them.
it is us.
It is
Just
not,
like
we
we
can't
did
do it.
It's not
You
us.
Just like-
can't do it. You've got to
No,
go for
but
training.
we did do what we were supposed to do for the dog in East Bakersfield.
Yeah,
Right,
And that's the same thing we'd have to do if we came across the same incident.
right. We
You gotta
enforced our code.
document,
Right,
you gotta give the owner so many days, you gotta quarantine the dog. I mean, there is a process already in place for that.
yes, I did.
I don't know that he can't act as dog catcher.
he can,
That might be.
he can take complaints, but I don't think he can issue citations.
I
without
agree with that.
Or
without-
take the dog. I
Yeah,
don't think you
so-
can take the dog either.
just to
That
remind-
one I question, but
Just to remind you, Cambridge/Jeffersonville. I spoke to the lady down there who they've taken on as her quote unquote dog catcher, who's taken over for the prior person who retired from the position. And she can't write tickets. She's got the gear in case, you know, she's got a dog, she's got cages, she's got safety things to put on. She'll pick up a dog, but she can't write a ticket.
Right,
And she'll kennel a dog, and fees come with kenneling a dog that's loose. And she'll feed a dog, and fees come with all that great stuff. So I mean, she does to this point.
right.
To do the rest of the job and write a ticket and do things like that. There's nobody out here right now. The last constable we had one before, after this constable, what was it, Williams, Tara? One of the
Sarah
Williams
Williams,
was a
Rosie's
constable.
daughter.
Yeah, it was a constable for a
one
few,
time.
for a while, and then another person took over, and then I think that's when the constable position kind of started going empty. If I
I
heard
think
right.
Kira was our very
Eric-
last one.
Eric,
No, there's one person after Tier I heard.
the one on Trowbridge there, Eric,
Oh, Eric, right down here.
yeah.
And then it went empty.
Yeah.
If I understand correctly. So we've had a
He might have
constable
been
for
dog
years. and
catcher, but
We've
I
been
don't
empty
think,
for
wasn't he
years.
dog catcher?
Right.
But we haven't-
He acted as
The
constable.
problem
We did,
is, John,
There were some issues that he handled.
and I think the biggest problem that we're facing is the way society is now
Mhm.
is the state is saying you have to have X,
Yeah,
but there's nobody that's going to do said job X for what the pay range is,
Right.
or the training that you need to is required to be that person in these small towns.
Mhm.
Right.
So we can't fill that position without sending somebody and becoming liable for their actions because they become an employee.
Yeah, we're liable for every employee of the town.
If you
Yeah.
pay him, if you pay him, right now, it's not a paid position.
You know, all of them. Well,
he is paid on, yeah,
he's paid
he
his
is.
hours. He's paid for his hours when he does stuff we agreed upon.
when he's on call, he gets paid.
It never was a paid position.
Yes, it always has been a paid position.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Unless filled by a select board member.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just that most of the people that we've had filling the position volunteered most of their time. If they had to go travel, And I know Eric had to travel to Montpelier on one of his things, and he billed for his time and mileage on that one, but most of the time he didn't. So, and I don't remember what Tara did.
I mean. At this point in time, John, I think you have a clear understanding of where his authority goes to.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it. What I disagree with is we stopped where we should have finished this thing. We're in analysis paralysis saying it's a liability. We got liability for everyone here. What we need to do is find out what it takes to mitigate said liability and finish this job.
Yeah.
We're holding.
If we can afford to, if we can afford to.
Well,
We have to see what the cost is.
Well, has anybody approached the insurance company to find out what the liability would be for, no, so we don't know what the cost will be.
That's what I said. That's what I said. We don't know
Right,
if we can even afford to do.
because we have general liability, I believe, on our insurance. Now, is the constable covered underneath it? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But we should have GL under our insurances. Hey, Tam? Tammy,
Yeah,
can you get a copy of our insurance policies and who our insurance broker is? Because I'll call.
VLCT, isn't that our insurance?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that is VLCT, isn't it? Do we have a copy of the policy?
Yeah.
know-
So,
I think it's,
I've
Can
had
you
to,
shoot me a copy of the policy? If you can't get it, let me know and I'll try to
yeah,
check.
there's a copy of the, I think they sent me a copy of the, town property policy, because remember you had me call about
Yeah.
and that was not covered. We don't have,
We need
open
GNL,
property
we-
coverage.
we had to have it for FEMA.
We need a GNL and we need an ENO.
Oh, what?
General liability and errors and omissions.
General liability and errors and emissions.
Yeah, we need to know who's covered under those policies. That's the key piece. We can have them, but if no one's covered, it doesn't matter.
Who is covered?
Please and thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
So, like I said, we're our open property. We don't have open property coverage, so
Mhm.
the park and the common and the cemetery and all that jazz, the trail was not covered. Remember,
Right.
you didn't check into that? And then, I asked them, like, if we did add that, what would that add to our premium? And they said that we would have to give them a value first for them to give us a premium amount.
For loss of use or whatever.
So when you were not covered, if I was to walk on our trail over there and I slip,
That's different, because we're not cutting you down and repairing a fence.
That's liability, yes.
so.
That's
it would-
liability. And I did ask about the ice rink, if we had an ice rink on town property, are we covered? And they said, yep.
perfect.
Okay.
Best news I've done all night.
The question is the limit.
Love it.
How much are we covered for?
For
Key piece.
liability, I don't know.
If we
I
put an
didn't
ice
ask that.
skating rink- If we put an ice skating rink on town property, what is the payout?
I don't know, we had one for 30 some odd years when I was growing up.
Yep.
I don't know, but they said that we were
With,
covered for that.
with a hockey team.
Mhm.
Remember Clark
Helmet-
used to call
Helmetless like hockey, teethless too.
Yeah,
We're gonna get back to the treasurer thing in just a second. I wanna cover this one. Town meeting day, coffee and donuts. The Historical Society is requesting permission from the town of Bakersfield Select Board to hold a coffee and donut sale morning of Tuesday, March 5th, town meeting day. If possible, we would like to set up in the office area immediately before the actual meeting hall. Kathy Wescom has no issues with this request. Proceeds will benefit Bakersfield Historical Society. Should you have any other questions or concerns, please call Lisa Stone. Feelings on that?
Oh, I can tell you from last year when they were selling cakes or pies out there, it was so noisy, it was ridiculous. The noise was coming, I mean, I could hear it and people were coming through.
This
Every
says
time I do it.
before town meeting.
Yeah, so long as it's done before town meeting and it's finished, I have no problem with it. I don't think we should be having any kind of sales during town meeting. They can do it post-town meeting when it's when the general public's coming into. But during town meeting, I think that that outer office should be quiet.
So are you saying it would be like 8 to 9? Doesn't it start at 9 or does it start at 10?
No, I
That's
don't.
a 10.
10,
Then
10.
yes.
So 8 to 10, they could sell
Yeah.
coffee and donuts, and at 10 o'clock, they have to shut down
Yep,
until we have a break.
till
We
town
get a
meeting's
break?
over.
Not if we do it right.
They
Till
don't do a
town
break.
meetings,
No.
till town meeting's over. Shut down for the duration of town meeting and then they can come back up and sell more for, you know, the election post town meeting, but it was so noisy.
And after.
I might be able to be here now for town meeting. I think I'm gonna be back.
Did anyone reach out while we're talking about town meeting? Did anyone reach out to the sound guy? What is it? Which cat? I know he came over and helped. What?
David.
Dan Stetson, David Stetson,
Did anyone reach out to him yet for the sound system?
who usually does that?
I don't know. Wasn't me.
One of his,
It usually just happens.
Did we even do a letter for the town report?
no,
The new guy's supposed to.
no,
That would be Todd.
Todd's turn.
No, we did not receive a letter. We hope to print by Monday. We're waiting on the audit.
Yeah,
Has John done one yet?
I did
Yeah.
last year's.
John did one.
I did last year's. Did you do the year before or Brenda?
I did them for 12 years.
Okay, you, Todd's turn.
I did them for 12 years. I'm not volunteering.
Todd,
So I have,
Florida.
Oh,
he's got till Monday to get it done.
You got a new baby grandson though.
yeah. So
Boy.
what I have here for the request is, yes, 8 to 10 AM and after the meeting to limit excess noise during meeting.
Okay.
That's fine.
Everybody's okay with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tammy, that paper, if you could respond to Lisa with that information, also going back in the new mail folder.
Okey-doke.
Cause I don't have the folder that I usually give to Tammy, cause she's not sitting down there filling it.
oh, where is Tammy tonight?
Took a vacation from what I heard.
Oh, geez.
A little suspicious her and Todd are missing.
Yeah, same day.
Tammy and Todd, I heard that my whole life, because that's my little brother.
All right, next, back to the elected treasurer position questions. How many hours a week does your treasurer work? Tammy, you got that number roughly?
No.
What is this?
Well, this treasurer's in here, 12 hours a week,
Oh, I was close. I said
Plus.
10.
12
So-
plus, because he's there 3.
12
Oh,
on
no,
an
no, no.
average.
No, maybe it is more like 10. Maybe it is about 10. I would say about 10. 10 to 12 at this point.
Okay, I'm putting in 12.
So what are the questions for? Is this someone asking for the job?
No, this is the Grand Isle Select Board
Asking,
Asking why we
Us.
to.
in Grand Isle,
okay.
asking for information about us when we change to an appointed
So they're thinking-
rather than elected.
You need a grease board.
And it's just gonna start slapping him with it. So 12 plus hours a week. and
Comedy show.
If you're comfortable, what is the pay scale for this position?
Well, it's what we determined it to be was 1% of the,
No, we didn't do
No,
that.
we did
No, we
not.
didn't.
what it wound up being.
No, well, it may
28.
rounded up, wound up that way, but,
There's a
It's
pay scale
28,
depending upon,
28,000.
Yeah.
it was dependent
28,000.
upon experience between $24,000 and $30,000 is what we said at the one meeting.
And you hired somebody for 28.
Yeah,
correct.
that's right. Which is between $24,000 and $30,000.
Or during tax season and what's the other one? Audits.
Tammy, you sound terrible.
You said 24 to 30,000 is what
Better than I was.
That's what we said at the meeting we were looking to pay originally, and then
Yeah.
we kind of laid in at 28.
Hmm?
Do you have COVID?
I tested positive last week and tested negative this morning.
Oh, man, you poor
But it's-
girl.
Still
Right.
in my sinuses.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Out of curiosity, if you had an election to change to an appointed position, which you have to, what were the results? Well, it was pretty. It passed fairly easily, didn't it?
1/3, 2/3
Yeah.
favor. The town realized we were in trouble by that point.
Right, we were sinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, I'm just writing down notes on this and then you can
That'd
type
be
it up.
perfect. If you want to stick that in the new mail,
With the
I'll
other stuff.
grab it in the morning.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
everything I need in the new mail and I'll grab it.
Was you elected town treasurer and elected town clerk the same prior to the appointment results? No. Did you begin work on what the job description would look like and job posting prior to elections?
No,
Did we have a description of the job prior to? No, because no. What was the most helpful resource in making the transition? VTVLC
The VLCT, yes.
and neighboring towns?
yes, we will.
I said, oh.
And the historical treasurer helping out. Not so much the last treasurer, but several treasurers
It
before.
actually came from Montgomery. Cause I was the one that.
That's what I said. It said VLCT and or a neighboring town. I
Yep.
put both.
I
That's,
agree.
I'm not gonna go into. Did you expand job duties of what the elected town treasurer had assigned complete?
No.
No,
No.
it was the
No.
same. Did you end up hiring the previously elected town treasurer to the position?
No, not originally.
That's why we switched.
Cause she retired.
Because she retired.
Right.
So no,
Well,
she
yeah.
retired. Then she came back. Then she retired.
And then she
She
retired. again.
resigned, actually. The one that was elected actually resigned. And then we went to,
How's that?
Close enough.
no, they retired.
It's a convoluted trail. We don't need to tell them everything.
Yep.
Oh, Tammy, that's in there.
Okay,
All the other fun stuff that you get to go through.
perfect.
Hi, Tammy. Property in the opening, who's this from? Kelly. Oh, son of a, oh, this is the information saying that the skating rinks are getting more and more popular. As town folks are getting out more. I've already had a couple members ask for those winters, no additional charge for the liability piece. There are no exclusions for them, so coverage would apply.
She goes.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, this is the insurance piece. from
This
the
is
VLCT?
Vermont League
Yeah.
of Cities and Towns replying to Tammy's question about a skating rink.
Awesome.
So it doesn't say what the coverage is, but it does say that they've had a lot of people and it doesn't change anything.
Towns have them.
Yeah,
West.
Venusburg has one.
Full one.
outdoor skating rink, risk management practices, John.
Oh, I don't know why I have to read it.
You're the one that's always complaining. All right, Alex Barkley, our grants person.
Mhm.
Dear Town Bakersfield Select Board members, hope you're all doing well. I wanted to follow up on our conversation in early January about grant writing and grant opportunities in the town. As I mentioned when we spoke, I believe the town is missing out on some opportunities for thousands of dollars in resources. I did some quick searching this week and it looks like potential grants that could be pursued. As I did this, I kept in mind town offices, the library, fire department, conservation committee, cemetery commission, and historical society. I found several funding sources that could be a good fit for projects here in Bakersfield, and I am attaching them in a PDF.
Hmm.
This list definitely is not exhaustive, but reflects less than an hour of searching. There's probably more funding resources out there that we could benefit from. Basically, take a look at it and see what we're thinking. There are. So there are a bunch of them, and I know we've actually talked about some of these beforehand because they're on the portal.
Mhm.
Sometimes they email you from the portal. Better Roads program we're already a part of. There's, well, I don't have to read them to you. You guys can look at them. Those are just ones that he found looking real quick.
Let's see if there's one that'll put up our skating rink. The Wyndham Foundation, V-Trans.
This is the letter from BLCT that says we're not covered for the railings and the tree.
Yep.
This is the picture of the railings and the trees. Those go together. I don't know where I put them, but those go together. What'd you think, John?
I think it's basic stuff that how to run the rink. I'm surprised it doesn't say that you have to put some signage up that says skate at your own risk, but. And it does mention a warming hut and someone who's an attendant if we desire watching the rink. But then you're gonna have to pay someone to sit there to watch the rink.
Not if you get volunteers.
That's
I
true,
think
too.
if we create the rink, there will be volunteers enough. We just, along with creating the rink,
They
we
don't,
let it be known that,
they don't have a damn
supervision is
soul.
required.
Yeah, skate at your own
Yeah.
risk.
They don't have a damn soul at, I've been to Enosburg, Bakersfield, Milton, Woodstock,
It's almost a moot point right now.
Yeah, really.
Right now, we have a skating puddle.
So you have a swimming pool or chilled water pool.
There's Bakersfield Court, so they're just.
Oh, Ryan,
He did well. He put his behind his house.
Board
Put it up against the,
has
He's-
got a nice one.
he does, and he kept it in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't get hit with the sun.
Uh-huh.
Oh, jeez. This is the thing about opioids.
We want to give them a safe place, do we?
They already got one.
They have one, it's a parking lot back here.
All right, that is new mail. Dun, da, da, da. Brady Academy's done. Any other others?
Speaking of that,
Hang on, we got another other.
It is what we used to see as, the common level appraisal, CLA. They've changed how it's worded or presented, and now it's called a coefficient of dispersion. And the numbers are exactly opposite. The common level of appraisal gave us at what percentage we're appraised at, which would be
Weren't we, when we were like just, we were under 80, weren't we?
75.58.
Okay,
Okay, the coefficient of dispersion is how far down you are. We're 24.42% below what we should be.
well. We're 24.42 below 100% appraisal rate.
Correct.
Yes. Theoretically, we're 4.42% above what minimum is for the
Right.
state.
it's 84, right?
Or is it 84 or I thought it was
82.
80? I don't know, it must say there somewhere, doesn't it?
That was.
Go on, let's set, no, that's the
84.
grants that,
We weren't quite there yet, but we were
oh,
close.
we're now.
Oh,
We are
we
now?
were, yeah. But we've already scheduled it.
All right,
I mean, there's nothing we can do until I actually start it.
so I hope we don't start it until some of this crap goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Fairfield got hit
Actually,
bad.
Oh, it's right here. That's right. The CLA below 85% or over 115% necessitates a reappraisal.
Yeah, and we're way below that, so
Yeah, 10%.
I thought we were at 82.
not anymore.
No.
What are we at?
74.25.
Oh,
Cool.
how did we get there?
By not doing it.
I mean, we've done our due diligence before it went out of specification. We looked into hiring someone to do it. And they weren't available right off,
Right,
so.
And now they've sold their business. So now we may not be.
Are you shitting me?
No, that's what, oh, you might not have been here for that meeting. That's what, not Sharon.
Sue?
Sue Somsky, that's right.
She said that we were on their list for the summer, but they, their business had sold out and she
I
was
missed
waiting to
that.
hear from the new company.
I missed that. Was that
You might have been
COVID?
out, yeah.
I was COVIDed out.
Good. That is everything that I have, folks. Any,
I was just gonna say that,
Second.
if
Hang on.
you have any complaints, let's not forget, we can reach out to Mr. Gregoire at any time. I've been doing some,
oh yeah, I got some
Talking with him.
complaints. How about the 20% that they're supposed to hike up our school tax?
yeah, I've been talking to him about that. I've
Oh.
been talking to him about,
When is our
lot.
informational meeting?
The 28th, I believe.
Thank you. I had forgotten.
I believe. Let me double check the calendar here.
It's
The
28.
the 28th at 7.
Mm-hmm.
When
Here.
is the school informational meeting?
22nd?
No, they're only electing officers that day.
Okay, so then it's the
28th.
it's the day after ours, the 29th.
Okay,
Oh, they changed it.
Ours is Wednesday, theirs is Thursday, I believe.
They were the 28th.
Were they?
they were.
They change it?
Oh, I think.
They are electing officers the Wednesday prior to that.
The 21st.
Yeah.
Just Bakersfield.
Yeah,
I can look at my school email and see what our all wise knowing person is. Put it out there. Annual reports.
So on the 26th is your next meeting and the final one before town meeting. And you want to do budget bullet points that night?
I'm gone the 26th. Peoples.
Okay,
That's when I fly to Lens.
okay.
But I should be back for the town meeting now.
Oh,
Coffee, Chris.
Oh, Donna. Oh, Donna.
So who's calling Chris?
Not me.
John?
He's not accepting phone calls tonight.
He's
Previously engaged.
engaged. That's what they're reading, the
What's he
email
talking
he sent me.
No, I don't mean tonight. I mean before the next meeting.
He's struck, we can send an email.
Reading between the lines, he's a little,
Oh, shoot.
Frustrated.
yes.
Well, because I think what he's saying, and I agree, is we possibly had given him, he may have misunderstood, or we given him some information that wasn't 100% there. And he'd like it in writing is pretty much what I'm reading.
Yes.
So
Well, I don't think we did though. We at no point have said that he had the ability to write tickets.
We gave him a
left the
ticket
meeting.
book.
We
We
gave
didn't give
him,
him a ticket book.
actually, we did give him.
We gave him like 6 ticket books
Right, we did.
We.
with an officer number and a
Right.
department
meeting.
number that I got from the judicial system.
So he's under
I
the
was-
impression he could write
Yeah.
tickets.
He was right here. He was sitting right there at that
The
table.
officer was sitting
Yeah.
right.
I
That was,
gave it right to him. I gave it to him that night.
yep, the night.
It was the
officer-
same night that the trooper was here.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't here. Ah,
That's right.
Unlikely excuse.
Mhm.
So I understand what he's saying. He's got two different types. I mean, I understand his request, not saying that he's saying that, that's reading between the lines.
Your phone died.
I don't know what he said, but.
It's just she didn't touch it quick enough.
So what I have here is the warnings,
That's what I said.
the annual meetings, February 21st, Tuesday, March 5th,
So wrong, man.
Thursday, February 22nd. Okay,
What's-
so they're for the town, sorry, for the Northern Mountain Valley, which is ours.
Yeah.
Said voters are further notified and warned
Yeah, so he's gonna suspend the ticket. The
that
ticket,
an informational hearing will be held Tuesday, February 27th at 6 P.M. at the Berkshire Elementary
Tuesday,
School
okay.
oh,
to
so
discuss Article 4 through 6, which will be voted Australian ballot on March 5th. And then the Enosburg Richford Unified School
6
District
PM.
said voters further warned Monday, February 26th. So
That board,
if you're,
I'm gonna tell you, that board is a joke. 6 PM, working people are gonna be able to attend that?
why would they want working people there?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to have an opinion? from the
Gotta get
people?
out of that board. You
No.
gotta get out of it.
Yes, we do. And that is something I would like to discuss at town
That's not, I
meeting.
was gonna say, that's not a town meeting thing. That's a school board meeting thing.
Why would it be school board?
'Cause
The town
school
has
board-
to vote.
Oh, the
we
town
as
has
a
to vote
town
us
have to
out.
Vote ourselves out of it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And that's a discussion, one of the discussions I had with Greg Wire. Because I said, this school thing is costing us a fortune. And we all knew it would when this came into play.
And then the
The
state's
money,
threatening to raise it.
the only way this was ever going to make a savings for us was to consolidate superintendents.
Yep.
Not consolidate school districts. Because what have you taken away to even be able to make a savings?
Nothing.
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 All you've done is add. And I don't care. I think if, and I've said it before, when Dan Connors was on the board and or in the legislature, and he came to the school board when I was on school board. He said, what can we do to help you? I said, you really want to know what you could do? Stay in Montpelier. Because we as a town can save money a hell of a lot faster than going through you people. And I believe it, I still believe that. We get all this shit mandated to us. They support it 1 year. The following year, we pay for it out of pocket. And it's just been, I mean, it's ridiculous what we're paying. When I was on the school board, we had 225 to 230 kids. And we're down to 100, and I think between 135 and 40.
Yeah, it's in the report too.
And our budget is astronomical from where we were at 225 kids.
Yep.
The superintendent in the Boston area is responsible for more students and faculty than the northern half, including Chittenden County, of the state of Vermont.
Oh, I believe it.
Doesn't surprise me.
And probably makes less than all those.
Oh, without a doubt. If
Yeah.
we were to combine all of them to do together, without a doubt. But,
Take my motion.
That might be a discussion we could bring forth town meeting day.
well,
See
it would
how
have to
people
be,
feel about it.
it'd have to go on the budget for the following year, but. Or on the, warning.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be on a town warning either. You could do it
Towards
at
the
the
final
November, you could do it at your November election.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a primary in August and you got a general in November.
Right?
It's not warned, but you can discuss anything you want if Terry wants to bring it up. And you probably have more information than I do on it, so I feel happy if you wanted to do that. However, we just can't do anything. If it comes to vote, it's non-binding vote.
It would be a
Right.
vote to
Right.
establish it
It
for
would
the,
be more of a vote as to, is this something
You're
we
interested.
are interested in looking into?
Yep.
Yep.
Getting ourselves out of Act 46.
okay, we'll,
And maybe once we say it, we'll get some neighboring towns to follow.
wouldn't take
Yes.
much.
Cause I'll tell you what, the only way you're gonna save a dime out of this is somebody's gotta put a lock on their door.
Did the administrative
We'll probably have to buy the school back.
faculty for this is. It's top heavy. Well, let me just say it that way.
Oh, no
Just
kidding.
again. And
Yeah.
Didn't we just, in this budget, we're adding 3 positions
Oh.
to central.
Not doing it.
He's getting emotional down there.
I'm just waiting for
You're,
somebody to.
I agree with you.
I'll second it.
No, I agree with you. I just saying,
Oh,
we can talk about this all night long.
boy. I,
Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Seconded.
Aye.
Lance. You didn't see the point? I was pointing.
I was looking down.
so I can't be here the 27th. Is